So you just seen me sharpen one side of this blade. I'm by no means a blade sharpening expert, but I do know how to sharpen a blade roughly. So I've sharpened one edge of it. I'm going to do the other edge next, because it was pretty bad. I mean, this is one edge. This is the edge that I haven't done. I don't know whether you can. Yeah, you can probably see that. There's loads of dinks and dents out of that. It shouldn't really be anything like that, because if you've got a dull blade, it's just going to be ripping the grass, and that's when you get that little white area at the top and it rips it. It can let disease in the grass if you're worried about it, but if you're not worried about it and you're just worried about what it looks like, it just doesn't look very nice, does it? You want a nice clean cut. So it's good to try and keep your blades properly sharpened. I mean, a lot of people don't. I mean, a lot of people just do it as and when it really gets bad. Like me, I do it when it really gets bad. That's the bit that I've just done. I mean, I'm not a professional. I've got most of the little dings out of it, made it pretty sharp, but it's not perfect, so by all means, take the piss. But I'm going to do this side now. Now, this ain't a mulching blade, so you can still mulch with this kind of blade, but not properly. So I'm just going to do the other side now. You've got to try and make it, you want to try and make it, I mean, it's self-explanatory sharpening, but in case some of you don't know, you might be watching this because you don't know how to do it. This ain't a tutorial, but you might still be watching because you don't know how to do it. So you've got to try and make that. It's the best way to show you it so you can actually see. Hopefully that's visible now. I don't know, how do I? There you go, like that. Is it focused? I think it has. Anyway, you want to try and make it so it's a nice straight edge. You don't want to be going up and down like that with it. Yeah, because you don't want to roll the top of that over. You want to make that so that's as pointed on the top. It's focusing on everything else apart from the blade. I'm never going to get that to focus. What if I do it like that? No. Kind of. You want to get that as sharp as possible on the top there. You're not going to get it perfect unless you're a professional. But if you're a professional, then brilliant. So, I'm going to do the other side now and see how that turns out. I reckon it'll turn out pretty well. I'm pretty pleased with it, actually. Pretty pleased considering I'm not a professional. Sharpened a few blades in the past before, but I just do it roughly. I just sort of just sharpen them and go. I don't think, oh, that looks bloody brilliant. That needs to do that all the time. I just give a bit of an edge on it and away we go. You know, you can't live life being perfect all the time. There we go, I've just done the other, this is the first side, I've just sort of tidied it up a little bit, done the other side under there, so that's that all good. Over here, let's have a look at this, some of you might not have seen under here before. So we've got the exhaust there, that's the exhaust, and then you just got your little mounting plate where the blade goes on with the, it's meant to be two little pins, but I've actually got little pins. Oh, they're kind of little like things there. And I was a little bit naughty last time I used this. I didn't clean the grass out from underneath. Usually I do, and it's good practice to all the time, but I didn't, so now I've got a little case of mould as it starts to rot down and decompose. So I'm going to have to clean that off. The reason I didn't do it before is because it started to rain. I didn't really want to be out there in the rain. I should have done, really. My next little project is, you can probably see the play there and the wheels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them bolts off of all the wheels and take some measurements and try and get, I either want to try and get some needle bearings or just some bushes to put in there to take up that slack, one or the other. I'll take some measurements and see what I can find. By the way, in case it's not immediately self-explanatory, I'd like to think it is for a lot of you lot with the common sense up there, but in case it's not, whenever you're messing around under here, yeah, take off the old spark plug HT lead, will you? because if that's on there and you've got your key on, or on some mowers you ain't got a switch or nothing like that, but it's best just to be safe, because without that on there's absolutely no way that it can start, right? So you might be turning it around and it might just kick back and fire a bit. Could be enough to break your finger, break your wrist, or even if it starts all the way up, it cut your hand off, and you don't want to be doing that. But some people, they take it off, right? And some people disagree with this, but trust me, I've had an engine run like this. Some people take it off and just sort of leave it flapping like that there, or even just like, not like that, but some people just leave it flapping nearby like that. Believe it or not, right, you might not believe me, and I know some people won't believe me, but I've had an engine run like this, yeah. The electric will jump across and you can see a little blue spark going from the HT lead to the plug, and it will run, yeah. Trust me, if you've got an engine running and you just take the HT lead off the end of the spark plug enough, it will stay running and you'll see the arc, a little bit of electric going across. So move it right out of the way. It's always best just to move it right out of the way, tuck it up under there somewhere, and you're going to be well and truly alright. Right, I've been having a look in my little jar of washers and nuts and bolts and things here to try and see if I can find some washers or something, because the slack isn't really, it's not, there's a little bit of slack there, you know, but it's not what's causing all that wobble. What's causing the wobble is the gap between where it bolts on and this, because that goes on that side and then that bolts onto there, but there's a little bit of gap left, because that, how can I explain this, look, that isn't threaded all the way down, right? So that only goes in all the way to there, but the wheel only comes to about there. So the wheel isn't being clamped right up against there. If it was, it'd be hard to turn, it'd be stiff. So that's why it is like that. But that's where the slack is. There is a little bit of slack, you know. If there wasn't any slack on there, then we'll be alright. I mean, probably could try and find some bolts the same as this, with the same size thread, with a bigger, you know, diameter there. But I don't know how easy that will be. Could drill this out and put bearings in there. But that's probably going to be quite difficult to try and find as well. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that, use all this original, but then go and buy some washers. No, not that sort. Not that sort. I'm going to go and buy some washers that are the same as this one. This is the one that was on it originally. Goes on there. Goes down there on the outer side of it. So I'm going to go and buy some of these washers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pack it out. I'm going to pack it out like that, so that the wheel will be clamped more, all that slack, because when that's bolted in there's a little bit of gap there. There's a little bit of gap. That's roughly what it looks like. See, and you see, oh, bloody hell, you can't see. There's the gap. There is gap in between there. That's what's causing the wobble. So if I can clamp that right up like that, not tight, I want to try and make it, I'm going to put a bit of grease in there as well, to make it turn a bit easier, but that's what I'm going to try and do. So it may work, it may not work. I'm looking for, see, what I was going to do was just buy the wheels that have the bearings in them already, but then it was pointed out to me that if I was to keep these wheels, it keeps the originality of the mower, because the wheels with the bearings in aren't meant to go on this mower. They're supposed to be on a different type of mower, a newer one, I think. So that's my next job, to try and go and source some washers. Not that one, the other one. So But that's going to be for another day, because I've got loads of other things to do. And I said to myself, if this wasn't an easy fix and I didn't have any washers or anything, then I won't be doing it. All I wanted to do was take measurements today. And I'll go out and I'll buy some washers. I'm going to take the measurements anyway. I need the measurements for the washers. So if I can find bearings that will fit over that little spindle bolt, then I will do. But if not, we'll find another way. So I've just taken measurements of the wheel, the idea of that hole, the little bit there where the bushing's supposed to go, and the washers and the bolt. So done all that then. Just went over to the mower shop and had a word with the bloke there to see if he had any bushes or anything, you know, to try and sort this out. And he didn't have anything. Had a look around, had a look at things, you know, nothing that small to take out that much. There's not really a lot there. I could drill it out, don't really want to be doing that. So what I've done is I went down to the local steelworks to see if what type of metal they had, and they didn't have any copper. So what I've done is I've ordered a sheet, and I'm going to have to go and pick it up at some point. But I've got a sheet of copper, 1mm thick copper sheet. So all I'm going to do is make my own bushings. I might still have to take a little bit of material away from the inside of this hole, maybe with a bigger drill bit, just a little bit. But I reckon 1mm thick will be alright, and all I've got to do is wrap it round that step bolt, and I can make my own little bushing. So I think that's going to be the best and probably the easiest way of doing it. So as soon as that comes in, I'm going to go and pick that up. Today being Wednesday, so hopefully by Friday or maybe early mid next week that'll be in. Another day now. It's been a few days since all of that stuff there, and I've been and managed to get hold of a roll, strangely enough, because what I did was I went to a metal refinery, bought some metal, but then I went home and I had a look, and you could find this copper, this big roll of it. Well, I say big, it's only a smaller roll, but this roll of it like that, for £2.40, and I'm thinking, £2.40? That ain't gonna be no good. For £2.40, I'll buy it anyway. I did, and it come with that. It come with a little, yeah. You can tell it's from China, definitely Chinese. However, it's not bad copper. Well, it's probably shit copper, but I'll tell you what it's done. It's only gone and done the bloody job. What I've done, I put my gloves on there because I'm going to get greasy hands, and I don't want to get a greasy camera. I got this camera covered in grease the other day, and it was a pain in the arse to clean off again. Anyway, what I've done, I've done a test fit here. I don't know. No, you see, I don't know how long this is going to last. This copper might be really shit, and it might wear away and not last. I'm obviously going to put grease in it. I haven't greased it yet. I'm obviously going to grease this. But they're only wheels. I mean, you only push a mower at like, what do you walk at? I don't know what the walking speed is. About 3 miles an hour, maybe 4. Maybe less. You probably mow at like 2 miles an hour, I don't know. But you only walk, don't you? You only push a mower at walking speed. So it's not going to be as if you're going to be, you know, there's not going to be a lot of heat or friction there. It'll be a bit, but not a lot. A little bit of grease, and I reckon that will sort this out. But I've cut it. I'll take it out a little bit. Oh, it's got stuck in there now. It's stuck in there. It's stuck in there, but that's good. Can you see it? The copper in there. So all I did was I cut a bit out. Right, and then I rolled it round the step bolt, and then I cut it just so that it rolled around and joint on one side. You can probably see the joint. There you go. Can you? I don't know. Yeah, you can. You can see the joint. Look. The joint. Let me get a pointer. There's the joint. It's not very light here. There's the joint there. Right. So I just rolled it round. And I've slotted it in there. This is 1mm. This is supposed to be. I haven't measured it. It's meant to be 1mm thick copper sheeting. Yeah, whether it is, I have no idea. But it bloody well does the job. So now there's no slack in there whatsoever. Not one piece of slack. I mean, you can't move that from side to side at all. That is completely tight, but it still spins nicely. So I think I've solved that problem. So all I've got to do now is do the other 3 wheels and see how it goes. Hopefully that will solve it. But even if it doesn't last very long, like I said, I'm going to put a tad bit of grease in there, just for good measure, you know. Some people go, you shouldn't grease plastic and copper. I don't care what you should and shouldn't grease. A bit of grease ain't going to do no harm. So I'm going to grease it, and even if it don't last very long, I've got plenty more. Plus I've got the 100mm square of it that I bought initially that I've got to go and pick up from the metal yard. Anyway, so I've got plenty of this, and I've got plenty of that. So got plenty of it, I can just redo it all again. So now, let's go and do the other 3 wheels, and then we'll see how wobbly it is afterwards. Bollocks! While I'm thinking about it, I'm looking at this now. This diaphragm. Does this mean anything to any of you lot, eh? I can't remember what this dude's name was, but there's one dude that's got a good eye. Because today's a Friday, right? It's Friday evening, but this morning, a video went live at 3 o'clock this morning. And it was a video of that old Echo strimmer. You can't see it, but it's down there. The old Echo strimmer. And it's about a 40-minute long video where I was trying to get it running, right? One dude said it's running too rich. It ain't running bloody too rich. It's not running any rich at all. And I'll tell you why, because I've solved the problem. But you'll see in the next video why it's not running rich. But anyway, I made a few deliberate mistakes because people are getting a bit used to all the little things what I put in the videos, yeah. But a lot of people don't notice a lot of things. I put things everywhere. No one seems to notice them, or they don't mention it in comments anyway. I put a diaphragm in the carb upside down, and then I cut the shot, turned it round the right way, and put it back together. Only one dude, and I can't remember his name, but I will mention him in a minute when I remember, and I go and get the phone, and I go and get and have a look, see what his name was. He realised that it was round the wrong way, and he let me know. So only one of you has mentioned it so far that I put the diaphragm round the wrong way in the car. What's happened to everybody? None of you are watching that far into the video, are you? I know your game. Alright, that's that done. I'm really pleased with that. That went really well. I wanted to try and film the actual process of doing it. Time lapse it or just film it or do whatever, but the battery on this camera is just about to die, and I wanted to get this done. So I've done all 4, and if I can just lift it up a little bit with my toe, it's going to be bloody difficult. There we go. Look at that. Oh, there's no playing that whatsoever. A little bit stiff, that one is. This was the hardest one. It had worn the least, so even putting one slice of it was really tough to get it in. So it's a bit stiff, but it doesn't affect how you can push it. The other ones ain't as bad. Some of them had to have 2, like had to be wrapped around the bolt twice, and then I got it in. But there's no wobble on there at all now. There's just a little bit of play where the height adjusters are, but as far as the wheel goes, none of them have got any wobble whatsoever. So this is coming along pretty well, this little project. What I'm really looking for is a mulching plug. So if anyone's got a mulching plug for this, it's a 4651 with no focus available at all. There we go. No, I think it's because it's too shiny. I don't know, whatever. There we go, kind of. Anyway, it's a 4651. If anyone's got a mulch plug that will fit it, that'll be really appreciative of that. I'll buy it off you. Just let me know, even if you're in another country. Doesn't matter. We'll soon sort that out. No problem. I'm also after a new bag, collector bag, canvas, whatever you want to call it. I found one on the internet, but they don't seem to come with this piece of plasticky leathery thing, which is very clearly stitched into the actual bag itself. The frame's alright obviously, but I just want a bag. I mean, if you got the whole lot, that's not a problem. I'll buy the whole lot off you, the frame and the bag and everything. But my one's a little bit worse for wear in certain places, and it's a bit dirty. It's got a few holes and things. So I'd like a new one of those. So if anyone's got one, well, not necessarily new, if anyone's got one that's in better condition, that is the original Lawn Boy one, then and it's got the piece of plasticky stuff on the bottom, then please also let me know, because I'll be very keen to arrange purchasing of that.